Kane McAullife. Now I know he's your man, EJ, but I do feel like I've got to make a video about him, and just a bit of an appreciation video, because I've been really enjoying what he's been putting out in the park recently. And I think we're starting to see what we are hoping to see from him, and I reckon he's about to explode. I reckon he's very close, just already taking his game to another level. He's just a ticking time bomb almost, but in a good way. So just to recap quickly, Kane McAullife was taken pick 40 in the 2023 draft, which was our first pick. So it was a long time coming, and it was actually one that Cam Hicks identified very early days that he would be a genuine target of ours, and we actually took him with that pick, albeit in the 40s. He didn't go any earlier. So a South Australian product, and it's been a bit of a slow burn. He's had a couple of small mishaps along the way that have kept him out with some eyes. I nearly said the word again. Some eyes that have kept him out along the way. But I want to take a look at his last 4 games in particular, because he's been playing some good footy in the AFL side, and just some little stats that I thought they felt meaningful, and they just felt like they're trajecting in the right way. And I guess the second part of the conversation is, what impact does Dion Prestia coming back have on someone like Kane McAullife and his football? Before we get to the stats, guys, make sure if you like the Richmond content, hit that like and subscribe button. We're on our way to 3,300. The love and support is amazing. We can't thank you enough. But let's take a look at some of the stats from his last 4 encounters at AFL level, starting with round 9 against the West Coast Eagles. 12 disposals, 6 tackles, 17 pressure acts, 2 clearances, 69% time on ground, and 15 centre bounce attendances. Obviously, disposal numbers are a little bit lower, but 6 tackles and 17 pressure acts are pretty good going for 69% time on ground. When by comparison, a lot of other midfielders are kind of at that high 70s to mid 80s area. So he's still getting some meaningful touches with not many minutes, which is good. Round 10 against North Melbourne, 22 disposals, 6 tackles, 18 pressure acts, 1 clearance, 76% time on ground, and 12 centre bounce attendances. So we saw obviously a spike of disposals by 10 disposals, same amount of tackles, an extra pressure act. Time on ground went up a bit as well, which was good. Centre bounces are still strong, which has kind of been the difference between what he's done and what they've done with Sam Lawler. How that's kind of gone from like 10 or 15 down to 4, up to 9, back down to 2. It's kind of fluctuated a little bit depending on what we need him for, whereas McAuliffe's numbers have stayed pretty consistent. Round 11 versus Essendon, 21 disposals, 6 tackles, 16 pressure acts, 2 clearances, 75% time on ground, and 15 CBAs. And then finally, the Giants game from the other night, 18 disposals, 2 tackles, 15 pressure acts, 4 clearances, 62% time on ground, 15 centre bounce attendances. And I wanted to also highlight 12 contested possessions. That's a really good gain from him as well. But I suppose what was interesting from the Giants game compared to the other games is his time on ground actually decreased by over 10%. Now, I don't know if this is a fitness management thing to try and make sure we're building him up correctly. Is it a Dion Prestia effect? Is it a combination of both things? Possibly both. I mean, if I was a betting man, I would lean towards it being more both. But the fact he was still able to get the 15 pressure acts in, 4 clearances, so he's actually doubled the most amount of clearances he's had previously with the least amount of time on ground that he's had. So that could be a Prestia effect as well in a more positive way. Able to still get 15 centre bounce attendances. And like I said, the 12 contested possessions are a good thing. But what we started to see in the GWS game, we started to see some more meaningful and hurtful passes from Kane McAullife, hitting up some leading forwards, burst away from stoppages, bursting through stoppages. Like, he's actually a really difficult player to tackle. He's put on obviously some great muscle mass, as we saw in the preseason photos, and he's now becoming a bit more of a bull and a reliable bull. Like, he's out there playing, and you don't realize or remember how young he is and how inexperienced he is. He's slotting in quite nicely. So I'm kind of feeling like the McAullife is getting very close to busting a game open. And busting a game open for him might be a 25-plus disposal game. It might be a 15 contested possession game. But importantly, I want him to hit the scoreboard. And I think he does as well. He's obviously missed about 5 or 6 shots and kicked a couple out in the full as well. and kicked a couple out in the full as well, but he's getting very, very close. But one of the big traits that was talked about in his draft year was his leadership, his, I suppose, pressure on the ball carry and his tackling and his kick penetration as well. So the kick penetration is probably the main thing I want to see a bit more of, just to help clear some defensive lines, to get the ball in deeper to our key forwards and to get it in there quicker, to give us a chance at some one-on-one contests, maybe a better opportunity to score. But overall, I'm really enjoying what Kane McAullife is bringing to the side this year. I think he's got to be a mainstayer for the rest of 2025. I don't think there's anything to gain from dropping him. He just racks up the numbers with relative ease. I mean, if you consider that time on ground, that the most he's had is 76%, whereas your Jack Rosses, your Dow's, your Tarantos, Hoppers, etc., they're all in the low 80s to high 80s really for a lot of them. So it's quite a bit more time on ground. And I know they're a bit more seasoned, a bit more experienced than what Kane McAullife is, but it just starts to make you wonder, what will his numbers start to look like once that time on ground increases? I'm pretty comfortable with where his fitness base is at. I think he's doing some really good stuff on that front. He's running games out. He's not been subbed, which is good. He hasn't started as sub, which is even better. He obviously did that quite a bit in his first year. So yeah, Kane McAullife, EJ, your man, tracking very, very nicely. Keen to hear what everyone's thoughts are in the comments below. Do you want his centre bounce attendances to go up? What would you like his time on ground to be like? Do you think Presti is having a positive impact on what's going to happen for Kane McAullife going forward? Keen to gauge everyone's thoughts and ideas on what we do with Kane. I think he's going to be a super talented player. And at pick 40, he could definitely be one to watch in the coming years as one of the key cogs to our midfield moving forward. So keep going, Kane. Keep doing your thing. And hopefully we can see you jag a goal this weekend against the Swannies.